Hi, everybody. Don't really have a lot to do lately, so I'm going to give my 22X4 some love tonight. I need to probably rebuild the shocks and definitely rebuild the diff fluid. So that's what I got going on. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. There we go. So we'll see what happens. Give me a second here. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. It's actually been a little while since I've gotten my tools out. Kind of took a little time off from everything. It was kind of nice. Still raced last week, but didn't do any work on anything. Just sort of just drove it, and that was that. So I need a pick. I need to invest in a pick. I used to have these like dental picks that I would use to get all the pieces of dirt out of the car. And I haven't had any for a little while. I haven't done that for a little while. So Jason Haley's on here. He asked, last summer series I burned up the left side tires on my buggy, right side still look great. Did I oversauce, or was it the heavy left turns on the track? Yeah, so I kind of see that too with Emerson and I's tire, although ours is the right. So you can see those tires there. So my right sides on both my son and I's mod buggies actually seem to wear out quicker than the left side. So, but usually that's just from hard turns on whatever corner that you're powering up on. A lot of times also, if you're getting up, let's say on a pipe or something and giving it gas, that can prematurely wear out your tire. We do have that curve after that top double that everybody's usually pretty hard on the gas right there, and that curve after the tabletop. So yeah, that could just be it. I don't think oversaucing is an issue. It's pretty rare that you would dump sauce on one tire and not on the other. It's just the natural wear from the parts of the track that you're spinning your tires up more often on. You can almost use that as maybe something to think about when you're driving, and instead of always being on the gas, maybe try to float a corner a little bit more. Probably not the diff. I mean, it could be, but if it's a ball diff, it shouldn't be a big deal. So yeah, trigger finger's probably more to do with it than anything. There's parts of this track right now. We got one more week on what we got right now, and it won't be vastly different for round 5 coming up, but it will be a little bit different. But there's parts of the track where I know not to get in the throttle so much, but I'm running mod too. But still, there's after that step up, I don't really jam into the throttle right there. I jam into the throttle after the next jump. But you know, if I jam on the throttle after the step up, for instance, I know that my car tires will spin, and so I've just kind of gotten used to feathering it through there, and then, you know, kind of feeling which parts of the track have more traction. So it's just something to work with. That's good. So Jacob got new servos the other day at the Plex, so that's really good. Peter wants to know if everybody else is glitching. Hopefully not. That would suck. I think my internet's good, so maybe maybe I'll turn that off. Maybe it's my internet. So I gotta answer this question real fast. There we go. So one cool thing that I like about the 22X4, yeah, that's all I got, is that they actually designed it so that you only need to take out a handful of screws to get the diff case out. So, which is great. I really do enjoy this car a lot. And actually, I didn't even have to do that. I forgot. I'll put that back. But I've only taken it apart like once, so once again, I'm gonna fumble around online here. So, how do I use my foam buster? Nothing on the web. So, guys have been getting this this really cool device that breaks in your foam tires, and it what I've seen people do, because I've never actually used one myself, but what I've seen people do is they get a drill bit, much like, let's see if I have one here. I thought I had one. So AKA has one of these that we sell upstairs, and also J Concepts just announced one. We also have one from Gravity RC. So you put this in a drill. It's got a 12mm hex. You put your wheel on, tighten that down, and then basically just hold your drill and you press it against that foam buster, and you just basically run your tires on that foam buster, and that's it. So you definitely got to get one of these. So Jacob's asking about a setup for an 8 scale. So I believe that he's got like the ready to run Losi 8, and what I would suggest is going to the Team Losi website, so tlrracing.com, and they actually have a bunch of setup sheets. I would use the TLR 8 2.0 setup, one of those setups that's listed for that, as a good starting point. because that car is kind of like a mix mash of a bunch of different versions of that. But I think that would be a really good starting point. So that's what I would suggest. If I remember correctly, it's I can't remember the pistons we were using, but I do know that 40 weight oil in the front and 25 in the back was what we used to run, kind of like a standard setup with, I believe, the old silver springs in the front and the green springs in the back. But something like that would be like a good starting point for sure. If I had that car, that's what I would do. This is my least favorite part of this stuff is that. So we had a pretty good weekend last week at the Plex with racing. We had 3 heats of Plex Spec on Friday night, and then we had I think 8 heats altogether on Saturday, and it made for a really good weekend of racing. Everybody seemed to have a good time as always, which is nice. We're getting ready to do it again, and you can kind of feel the dirt season kind of starting to wind down for 10 scale. There's a lot of us that are really looking forward to carpet. I'm not. It's like it's so much work getting the track together. So it's not really my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So, but the racing's fun. The racing's always fun and close. And yeah, so I don't know. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I just checked my YouTube stream on my own cable, and it was fine. So I'm not really sure. Hopefully it's not my stuff. Sorry. I have got mud just packed up all inside of here, which is making it a little bit more difficult to get everything out of there. I really need to invest in a chassis protector. It's one of the things, like on dirt, I never really think about a chassis protector. You know, it's more of a carpet thing for me. So there we go. But when you want to work on stuff and you got mud that's been caked in there for probably 2 or 3 weeks, that's why you should always maintain your cars after you're done, like the night that you're done racing them. So anyways, it's nice and clean, so there's no leakage, so that's really good. There's one diff. Everything looks really good. So that's great. The one thing that I felt right away with this car was it seemed like after a couple weeks of racing, it would it would like lose grip in the rear end. And the last time that I took my diff out, it was basically empty, like all the oil had been burned out. And so I'm curious to see what it looks like this time around. I don't really plan on racing this car anytime soon. I got to give the motor back to a buddy of mine, the 13.5 that I have, and we're gonna probably put a mod in it for one of these last weekends, I think, just to have some fun. So might be racing the last round of the summer series with it in mod 4-wheeler, just for something to do. We'll see how this next round goes. So the way the points work is if no, shoot, that's still nice and clean. I'm gonna change it out anyways, but huh, yeah, it's not bad at all. The way the points work out is if I can, I think if I can get first or second, maybe even a third in the next round, I think I don't have to race the last round of 40 plus. If I get a TQ point and get third, at least third, then I think I'm okay. So I don't know. That's what I got to do. So the pressure's on, because then I can run mod 4-wheel and just for the fun of it, the last round of the summer series, and it won't really matter that much. So we'll see what happens. So a lot of times you want to change these seals. I don't have any seals, so I'm not going to worry about it. But it was sealed up pretty good, so I think we're going to be okay. I'm interested to see what the front looks like next. And I'm not running a center diff, so I don't have to worry about it. So the door prizes and drawings at the summer series. So the grand prizes, the kit giveaways, those are done at the end. When we hand out the awards, we put everybody's name in a hat and then see who wins. For the door prizes, we actually do those Saturday morning. And there'll be a when you sign in, there's going to be a bag that you're going to get with a raffle ticket in it, and then you get to go take it to the raffle table, and I'll have somebody there checking numbers to make sure you're grabbing the right stuff. And so there should be a big prize and then a bag full of little stuff. So we won't know how much stuff until the week of the race, because I still haven't gotten a lot of the door prize giveaways just yet. But I have faith that they'll be coming, so not too worried about it. But yeah, the grand prizes, the kit giveaways per class, we do those at the end. And it's pretty fun. So it is kind of a late one, you know. Also dependent on the turnout. If it's a huge turnout like we've been getting, you know, we're going to be there kind of late, but whatever. I also take pictures of the top 3, and then I take pictures of the winners and everything else. So there's quite a bit to do the last round of the summer series to wrap everything up. So I'm hoping to get the cars here pretty soon. The rest of the cars from TLR, not TLR, good Lord, from Team Associated. And yeah. So I'm looking up some setups real quick. I'm kind of curious what they're running for rear diff fluid. because it's been a while since I've checked. Oh, okay. So it's a good thing I checked because I was going to put the wrong amount in there. That would have been bad. So I'm hoping that one of these days I'm able to have, I've said this before, but you know, multiple cameras and stuff. I've been working on getting lights in here again. It looks like the light I have is pretty good. So the way that they describe the process of putting oil in your diffs is by weight, which I don't have a scale. I should get a scale, but I don't have one. So as an old 8-scale guy, I know that you don't want to have it like all the way up to the top. So what I usually do is pour it in there and let it kind of sit. And I'm looking at it like just below the top of the diff case. It should be good. So that looks pretty good. There's going to be some spooge out, whatever. Should be okay. Not too much though. It's been all right. And we're going to put this guy back. So what's we got 11 people on here. What's everybody doing this weekend? Anybody racing? Anybody crawling, bashing, drag racing? What's going on? That feels pretty good. Bearings still feel good, so that's all right. Okay, one down. So Jacob says, just work until next payday and then fix the darn setup for your Traxa. And then Jason's going to be tearing down for a full clean and diff rebuild as well. So that's good. I'll probably be doing that next show. So next week, I've got a small track change to do. And then I got to get my son and I's two-wheel drive cars. Oh, excuse me. Two-wheel drive cars ready to go. So next week, we'll see how each car is. My car probably won't need a lot, but his car probably will, as always. Paul's practicing with his B74. That's awesome. If I remember right, Paul's one of the guys from Canada. Daniel's looking at a 4x4 B74 for a great price, brand new. Dude, you can do that too. either two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. If you want to do four-wheel drive, definitely should race in the 13.5 four-wheel drive class. If there's nothing wrong with that, dude. That'd be a good step up. Maybe race that in Plex, you know, for a little while instead of your truck, and then get ready to race in 13.5 four-wheel drive. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely nothing wrong. Whatever makes you happy. That's a good car, so you should be able to wheel that thing around really well. Just make sure that you get a 13.5 motor. Don't run mod, please. You'd be a lot happier at first. Got to start off kind of slow. That's not slow as in slow car, even though that's part of it, but also like, you know, throttle control and maintenance, that sort of thing. It's good to start with the stock classes first, in my opinion. Yeah, gluing tires is not my favorite. Paul says he has to glue tires and hate gluing tires. I agree, but I've been doing this for so long that kind of doesn't bother me anymore. I just don't like buying tires. Like, I don't mind the gluing part. It's the buying tires that I hate. I'm like, ugh, because you know they're just gonna do that, and then you know you're staring at, you know, $30 as you can feel it on the track slowly stop working. Okay, and because I'm dumb, I didn't make sure that my dog bones were properly positioned, so I'm gonna risk the Team Losi ball cups as I put this one back. Okay, so the rears are done, so that's good. Feels good. Onto the front. Oh, you know what? We can't forget to tighten these down. Yeah, that's if you're one of those guys that's running independent buggy and expert buggy, sometimes you can sometimes it's pretty easy to be overwhelmed, for sure. So yeah, having an extra battery would be good. The good thing is our batteries nowadays, you can kind of get away with running a car back to back, since our batteries are usually big enough to not necessarily need to be recharged. Of course, we top them off, especially in stock, so you have the voltage, but you know, if you have to, you don't necessarily have to have a fully charged battery just to make the end. We're kind of lucky that way. I'm still trying to find a date for the HobbyPlex 1000 Enduro. Probably November, some Sunday in November, I'm thinking. So I saw a Team Associated B5, not a B5M, but a B5 online the other day, and I thought about buying it specifically for the Enduro. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that could be a good car. Put a gear diff in it and put a 13.5 motor in it, so you can still kind of go fast without the runtime, and then get a big old like 8200 lipo or a couple of them, and let it rip. I think that could be a lot of fun. We tried the Slash. We tried the Slash 1000 last year, and it almost made it without breaking it. This year I want to win, so definitely going to find an appropriate car for that. And should be able to do this one. So once again, my drill died before. So for the off-road enduro, the only rules are it's got to be a 1/10 scale car, and that's pretty much it. You can run any battery, any size battery, and you can run any motor you want. There really are no rules. The off-road enduro has always been, for me, it's always been about ingenuity and trying to make it to the finish. So I never really wanted to put too many rules on it. It's 3 or 4 to a team. You got to have one driver, one marshal, and then you can have a guy hanging out to change batteries or be the pit guy. If you got a fourth, then he's just inside eating your pizza. So, but those have always been a ton of fun. So, last year, the Super Slash made it to, I think we were at like 800 laps, if I remember right. The leader, it took like 8 hours to get to 1,000 laps. So they were going pretty fast too. So last year's winner were Derek Wood and his team. It was pretty much all fast guy. I think Dustin Hosick was racing. And they just used a regular everyday Kyosho car with shorty packs, but they were running mod, so they had a big time speed advantage. And then yeah, electric only. And they just ran away with it. I thought about doing a Nitro Enduro. I just haven't had, our Nitro crowd didn't seem real interested in running their engines for like 6 or 7 hours straight. No, Burrito's on here. Al Burrito. So I had to check what oil to run in the back of this car. On the front, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. There it is. That's a 7 and an F. So obviously I ran 7,000 in the front. And it doesn't look too bad either. It's weird because the last time I did the maintenance on this car in the back, there was like no oil in it. It was just gone. So this time it's all there. So that's good. I'm definitely not complaining. I just I don't know. Kind of surprised. Mainly because I'm terrible at maintenance. So I am not known for my amazing mechanical skills. But that's why I like to do this program, because it forces me to find stuff to do, including performing maintenance on my cars. I still have a squeaky chair, though. Very squeaky chair. So I think the O-rings and stuff are good. I'm not really worried about, there's really no, you know, I should take this apart and check the O-rings and everything, but I don't really see any leakage or anything. So I'm just going to skip that part and pretend that I did that. And let's see, there's that one. Shane runs 10,000 in the front and 7,000 in the back. Is Shane running a center diff? I've been thinking about getting the center diff. I've also been thinking about getting the composite diff gears, because everybody else is running them. But I don't run this car enough to worry about it, I don't think. But I know that Tom Rinderknecht was running him in his car last week. So maybe that's something I should probably think about doing. So once again, I'm just making sure I don't overfill these, and since I don't have the weight, the scale, I'm just going to kind of guess. And that looks pretty good. So I think for 13.5, I don't think you necessarily need the center diff. I think if I was going to run mod like I'm planning to in a couple weeks, we got them in stock at the HobbyPlex, so I'll probably end up picking them up. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of the plastic gears back in too. We were out because everybody bought them, and then we just got them back in. Got a whole big pack of them, a couple packs of them. So yeah, we have a whole bunch of different. So Jacob's on here and he wants to know if we got any buggies or trucks for the Enduro, and the one thing that always, although last year it was proven wrong, but I always thought that, you'd be better off having a car that could use a full size pack, so you could get all the milliamp hours, out of batteries that you can get. Well, last year the winners ran shorty packs, and I mean, realistically speaking, we got some ProTech. What are they? 6100s, 6500s. So I mean, it's not like there's a shorty packs out there without the runtime. They just happen to be kind of expensive batteries, but But yeah, I'm tempted that I know who owns that B5, and I keep thinking that if I get a big paycheck one of these days, I might still bug him and see if he still has it. The cool thing about that car is you don't have to worry about wheels. It uses the same wheels front and back as the B6s do now, whereas the TLR, the 22 for instance, uses that oddball TLR front wheel offset. So that's why I was thinking an associated car like a B5 would be pretty good. Full size pack and regular wheels. So, okay, that's 2 down. I'm gonna brush this gunk off the car real fast here. And get going. So the let's see what's coming up here. So the Southern Nats is coming up, and I think the Fullers are going to that for sure. So we're going to have some local representation once again at another national event. So it'll be fun to watch. Also give us something to talk about on our podcast. So that's always good. And Nitro season's coming up quick at the Plex. We November 14th is our first Nitro Techno Winter Series. So Techno RC is the big sponsor for that. And they've been our sponsor now since, I think, the 2014 and 15 season is when they first did that. So going on 6 years, which is fantastic. Maybe 5 years, something like that. And man, a lot of work coming up to the track. We got Club Race, Summer Series, Club Race, Summer Series. And next week I'm making a couple more changes to the track, and that should be good for a couple weeks. And then that week of November 7th, I'll be changing the track to make it an 8-scale track, which is going to be a lot of work, but the jumps will be bigger. They'll be more spread out. It's just going to be a whole new ball game again. So I'm looking forward to that. In a way, I'm looking forward to it. In a way, I'm not. It's just a lot of work, but it's just part of the gig. It's the way we have our schedule structured. So it's just kind of how it works out. Shane is on here and he says he might not be able to make it to the next Summer Series race. I cannot remember. Did you guys make the first one? I can't remember if you made the first one or not, because that would suck to see you guys lose out on any prizes or anything. That's like half the fun. That's what makes it special. Different from everybody else's stuff. Oh, it's killing me. Could have swore I charged this battery. I'm super sad right now. Did all of you guys see the new Mini T, the new brushless version of the Mini T? That's gonna be a good that's gonna be a good seller. It's actually 5 out of 6. So that's why I wanted to know, because that'll kind of suck. You're just gonna have to tell your dad that racing is more important. Like, unless it's a funeral or something, which hopefully it's not, but nor a wedding. Okay, so that's in there. Now we're gonna move on. So one thing about the 22X4 that I did not pay attention to the first time I ran it was the captured shock bottoms here, which I'm not putting the screw through there. It's just seems like a lot of work. But when I first drove this car, I was acting funny. And it's because I had this screw hole on the inside, and it was binding up the suspension. And I did not realize my mistake until I think it was Tom Rennernach's like, hey, you have your shock bottoms on the wrong side. And I went, what? And sure enough, there it was. So always read the instruction manual, people. Because I'm not very good at that. There was a comment on the laser nut unboxing where the guy was like, well, if you'd read the instructions, you'd see that the receiver's waterproof. And I'm like, yes, I know the receiver is claimed to be waterproof. However, it just seems weird to me that you wouldn't have a waterproof receiver box anyways, because I've never heard of anybody being able to submerge a receiver, regardless of whether or not it's waterproof. So, I don't know. I tend to not trust stuff like that. See how filthy this oil is. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, that's not bad. Actually, it's not even close to being filthy. So that's really good. It was pretty clear. This I really like this car. It's handles really good, jumps really good, and it's tough. And so far, the all the components and stuff have been top notch. You know, this is like the maybe second time I've ever taken apart these shocks, so it's always nice when you don't have a bunch of filthy oil coming out. It means the O-rings have been doing their job. The one thing that kind of sucks right now about this hobby is shock oil. Everybody's out of shock oil, so I have been very, very, very stingy with rebuilding my shocks with the shock oil. Hardly anybody has any. I think we just purchased those big jugs of Losi shock oil for the store because it's like all we could find. And we've been bringing in some more of the CST stuff, whatever we can find. So we normally carry Flashpoint, and I think what was I going to say? Mugen. We found some Mugen shock oil for sure, but I'm looking for some 35, and I might not have any. I got one more stash. Hang on. Nope. I do have 32 though, a little bit. Yeah, 200 has been out. Most of the associated oil is out, so they don't have any million, 500K, 200K. I think the 100's been out. 30, 35, 32, all that stuff. It's getting kind of weird because, you know, you think about how many, you know, it's something you don't even think about. You just go to the store and you buy it. And if you're out of it, you know, what are you going to do? So I do have 37. Kind of seems kind of trying to decide if I'm going to do 32 or 37. Could try to mix it. That'd be really hacky. Like, I'm already a big hack. I don't know. So once again, fill it all the way up to the top. Push him up. Twist as you pull it down. Top it off a little bit. Put it in the tray. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I really miss being a sponsored driver for was all the maintenance parts. So as I was a TLR driver, I used to pretty much fill up my allotment with diff parts, bearings, shock oil, glue, and wheels. That was pretty much my standard team driver order. And that's one of the things that I do miss is being able to pretty much never run out of that stuff. Where now, I mean, I work in a hobby store, so, you know, we have that stuff most of the time. But times like this where because of the COVID thing and the lack of production, you know, some of this stuff's running out. So, you know, we're just going to have to deal with it and do our best. Maybe modify our setups a little bit, run a little bit thicker or lighter oil than we're used to until everything kind of comes back to normal. They're saying now that it's weird. Every time we talk to one of these guys, it gets pushed back a couple months. So, you know, back in March, it was like, oh, everything will be normal again by June. And then, you know, June comes and they're like, yeah, everything's going to be normal by August. And, you know, then we heard, oh, everything might be back to normal by November. And now it's like, oh, everything's going to be back to normal probably by February. So who knows? Who knows? Shane wants to know, do I run the box stock setup? Sort of. My car is kind of a mix mash between stock and Tom Rennerneck stuff that he posted online. And then also I changed the pills in the back to match my two-wheel drive car, because my two-wheel drive car with the pill setup I have now was really good. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna put that on my four-wheel drive. So I have I have 5-up in the back, and to be honest with you, I haven't looked at what all the other setups have for that, but it did work pretty good. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to do the rear shocks. I'm not running a front sway bar on my car. I took it off because it kept getting caught up in the drive shafts and was bending it. So I just took the whole thing off, and I'm running team associated purple V2 springs in the front. Really stiff spring. Five up on both blocks. Yes, 5-up on both blocks. Yeah, it's weird how the springs go. So I'm kind of a spring hog. So I've got like 2 boxes full of different brand springs. And I was that guy who went out and bought every single Kyosho spring when that was the hot ticket. So like Kyosho Golds on the Losi 3.0 front and back. That was like the thing to have, those X springs. And then on the carpet, everybody was running Yokomo springs. So I've got a whole bunch of Yokomo springs in my box, in a couple boxes. And luckily, Yokomo springs are way cheaper than Kyosho springs. And then now guys are running X-ray springs, which are just as expensive as Kyosho springs. I have not bought any of those yet, but I probably will. So I'm always trying different springs in these cars, like just, you know, of different different oddities. But I will say that on my V6.2, the stock V2 white springs front and back have been the only springs that I've been able to make work on that car so far. So, you know, whatever that means. But on this car, stock pink in the back, and I'm running those AE springs in the front. Actually, they're V1 purple, not V2. They're yeah, they got the little heat shrink on there. So, and so far so good. This car is pretty fast. I think Emerson's going to run it when we go to Myrtle Beach for the Beach RC Masters of Dirt race next month. I think he's going to run it in 13.5, and he's going to run open mod, and I'm going to run open mod and the old man mod, and that'll probably be it. So I flirt with the idea of getting a truck again, but just thinking about the tires. So Daniel's on here. So that's Daniel Bender. And what's really cool about Daniel is he's got a Slash 4x4 right now that he's running at the track in Plex Spec. And he's looking at getting a buggy so he can move up, eventually move up out of Plex Spec. And what I really like about Daniel is I see him all the time checking his ride height, checking his camber, cleaning his tires, making sure that all that prep work that we're supposed to do is being done. So I think he's ready. I think he's ready to move up and take on like a B74 or something like that for sure. So he says David Peevler will help him with the car. I have no doubt in my mind that David Peevler would love to help you get that car going. David's one of the local fast guys. His daughter's getting pretty fast, so it's pretty awesome to see our racing continue to grow. Makes me happy. That's what Plex Spec's all about. You know, it kind of like ignites that fire a little bit, where you get used to coming to the track every week, and you get used to working on your stuff and taking a little time, once or twice during the week to get your stuff prepped, and then see what a difference it can make at the track. Because let me tell you, when you don't do anything, you can definitely tell at the track. That's especially when you don't, especially when you get old like me and you get home from work and you're just like, ugh, do I really, really, really want to go downstairs and do all that? Yeah, the latest video that I posted, the race video, that was a Plex Spec A-Main from the Summer Series race 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. And I kind of had it in my phone, and I almost forgot about it, so I had to put it up. Plex Spec's probably one of the more entertaining races, period. Even the lower mains are even more fun, because it's like what's really fun about our beginner class is, especially on Friday nights. So Friday night is Family Friday Off-Road, so tomorrow night. Nobody cares. Like, a couple people will care, where they finish, but for the most part, the other, 15 to 20 kids there, they just like being there, and they like driving around the track and driving against their friends, even if they don't win the race, if they beat their buddy or whatever, you can hear them, talking about it and stuff. So that's what makes Plex Spec a lot of fun. There is no age limit for Plex Spec. No age limit at all. There's 5-year-olds racing 60-year-olds. Camber question. Is camber changes slightly between sets of tires? Do I just tweak every time due to the tire, or is it a setup station? Boy, there's like a tiny little bit of slop in all of our cars, right? So it's always going to be, you know, moving one way or the other slightly. I think I would tell you not to worry about it that much. Having a setup station is pretty awesome, but just going over to that tech table with your camber gauge and just double checking to make sure that it's the same as last time is all you really, I think you really need to do. So. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and we're going to go back to the front shocks. And get them together. I think one of the best things that's happened in the last couple of years is that Team Losi and Team Associated basically have the same style shocks. If you're old school, like these, building Losi shocks back in the day was totally different than building Associated shocks back in the day, right? So we never used to have bleeder caps, first off, so we would put that cap on and, you know, bleed the shock and then tighten it down and make sure that everything was hunky-dory. On the Losi shocks, you would fill it up to the threads and then put the thing on and push it down and then tighten it down. And, you know, now, you know, Losi shocks and Associated shocks basically build the same. So once everything is down, very slowly, I like to compress the shaft here. And that should be all you got to do. I've seen some people turn their shocks to the side. I don't think that's a good idea. I think having it upright and very slowly doing it is the way to go. You're just going to have to get used to a little bit of oil is all. And there you go. That's pretty good. Don't feel any gap or anything like that. So, yep, that's great. Oh, is it really? Yeah, that thing's been there forever. I'm actually shocked nobody's broken it. Seeing as how everything gets broken at some point. That fence that's broken right now at the Plex is driving me nuts. Can't believe that broke. I did get word today that we are going to be able to get a couple of garage doors fixed before it gets too cold. So that'll be really good for the Nitro racing. We'll be able to open up those doors. That was kind of a priority of mine this year since, unfortunately, the rust on the springs for the garage doors is there because, you know, it's humid in there. We water the track, and when it gets hot, it gets really humid and unfortunately rusts out those springs. So a couple of them broke a couple of years ago, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then a couple more broke, and then we started spraying everything with WD-40 and it still broke. So, but it's been, you know, 9 years. So just something that we learn about, that we have to deal with now. It's just part of it, you know. It's all those little expenses. It's what I try to tell people when, you know, when they ask about our practice fee and stuff. It's like, you know, unfortunately, we got to pay for all this little stuff, whether it be the tractor breaking down, you know, the water and heat bill, the electricity bill, garage door springs failing, the heater going out, you know, all that stuff's got to be paid for. So yeah, exactly. It definitely adds up over time. All right. That feels pretty good. Two more to go, and then we'll put them on the car, and then I think we'll be done. I think tomorrow night, after Friday night racing, I'm going to work on the track a little bit too. There's a couple holes that developed out there this week that it happened after Tuesday, of course, when I work on the track. So I'm definitely going to get out there and try to make it good so our next club race can be okay. All right, last one. Everything looks good. Make sure to tighten all that down. And a little bit of cat hair. My little Roxy cat likes to climb up here, and now she's starting to like knock stuff off. She's never done that before, so I caught her the other day. She actually knocked down my Hitachi drill. This itty bitty little cat like knocked it over. So, aw. Sorry, Shane. 2020 just bleh. You can blame it on the year. Normally, our final summer series would be next week, but because we started a month late, we pushed it back to October. So just kind of the nature of this weird, strange year that we're in. Okay. And get this on here. I got to get some colored nuts so my car can look cool. I need red colored nuts. As a buddy of mine used to say, you got to look good losing. Which college, dude? Where are you going? Like a speech or something? I didn't know you had a brother. Why is this not going in? What's going on here? Oh, interesting. Okay, almost done for tonight. I feel a lot better getting this car kind of cleaned up a little bit because I had kind of ignored it. Ever since I got beat by the 9-year-old Owen Vanderbeek, I kind of just threw this car off to the side. I'm like, screw this car. I have thought about getting misters to the track. The problem with us getting misters is that we don't necessarily have the insulation and the heating capacity to keep misters from freezing in the middle of winter. So definitely not. That's something that will never happen unless I win the lottery and am able to buy the track and close it off completely for 10 scale only, which would piss a lot of people off, but who cares if it's paid for? And then maybe misters could happen. But there's several reasons why we would never get misters. One is, A, they'll freeze. B, everything seems to break. So for us, probably not a good idea to have misters and then have somebody let their like 5-year-old kid throw rocks at the misting system or something like that and break it. Because that tends to what happened with the Plex. So the other day I go out there and there's these 2 little kids in the step up with a spike, taking the spike and pulling out pieces of the racetrack. And I'm like, what is going on? And so because stuff like that always happens, I would definitely not want to invest in misters. The other thing too, we're kind of in a unique situation at the Plex too, because our practice passes, you know, there's nobody down there watching the track. You know, the store is upstairs and the track is down there. So, you know, a lot of times I'll go down there and I'll see people have opened up the garage doors and not closed them after they're done. I'll see chunks of the track taken out. I'll see pipe being moved because somebody didn't like a lane or something. They'll just move it while we're all working upstairs, and I'll have to go down there and fix it. I've seen chairs brought out, not returned. I've seen spray paint get sprayed on the walls. So somebody's kids decided to spray paint, somewhere. I've seen all this stuff. And so we're very reluctant to do anything too expensive down there. Luckily, the heater is way up there. So, all right, I'll set the ride height when I get to the track, and but we're good. We got fresh diffs. We have fresh shocks, and the car otherwise is pretty clean. So I think I'm going to put this back on, and we'll call it a night. Yeah, the worst one was during a dirt oval night, a dirt oval day. I think they didn't have enough to race, so they were just practicing. And there was like a pack of young kids, and they kind of did the same thing. I don't know what it is about the cracks in the track that attracts young kids, but 3 kids took and pulled up big chunks of dirt the entire 70-foot straightaway that we had. This was this might have been last year actually, but it took 3 kids to basically ruin the straightaway. And it's not like you can take those chunks and just put them back and everything's hunky-dory. So I had actually the following day go down there, find somebody to work for me, go down there, jump on the tractor, and basically resurface the entire straightaway, because 3 kids were allowed to pretty much just ruin the track. So it's tough sometimes to not like yell. I didn't ban them, but I did ask their parents if they could watch their kids better next time. And the weird thing is I got like a little bit of attitude back about it. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm like, do you understand how much work I have to do now to fix that? And I think I kind of got the point across, but unfortunately, I don't think I ever saw those guys ever again. So it's not that we didn't ban them. We wouldn't ban somebody unless they did it on purpose, I guess. The kids didn't know what they were doing, but maybe they were too embarrassed to come back, or maybe they didn't appreciate me saying, hey, watch your kids, What are you going to do? So anyways, yeah, I agree. So Shane's telling me have fun at the track when I get there. I agree. There's 11 of you on right now, so that's great. Those of you that have been on for an hour and 24 minutes, hopefully I wasn't super boring. And I actually got this car done. That never happens. So, okay. I'm glad I was able to get on here. I'm sorry I missed last week. But like I said in my little post, I just was not feeling it. I was super tired. But tonight I'm on it, and did some maintenance to my 4-wheeler, and maybe I'll run it again. I don't know. So I'm out of here, you guys. Thanks for watching. And we'll try to get some videos up this weekend for some racing and stuff. And yeah, so see you later. Bye.